Hi, it's been really long time. I stopped vlogging as much as I used to, I guess. I switched to different interests, and currently my new obsession was making a game. I don't have any skills for it, so I won't be able to teach a lot. But for the past month, I've been basically working with Unity and making a pixel 2D game. Um, So, welcome to the game dev vlog. Since the last little intro that I showed, I actually also have now dialogue system. So I feel almost ready to go. I have a modular dialogue system. I have semi quest system, which is not quite corresponding with my dialogue properly. So quest system might need to be still kind of finished. There's no reward system yet in that. There's no level up system either yet, so like there are a couple of things, but I am absolutely sort of ready to progress through areas because the first area, oh yeah, I did make cutscenes as well. So the first area, is mostly the opening couple of things there, but then I think the quests are going to be going forward. So what I'm really missing is I need to remake my backgrounds. In terms of the backgrounds, just one layer of background, and I made all the boundaries separately. While now I'm actually using a tile map to remake the backgrounds. So even the first background is going to be gone. I'm a bit saddened that I can't make in any like top down or isometric game a perspective where you can see the sky. But it is in my heart there. But anyway, I want to say that I am a type of person who does everything wrong before I'm doing something right. So I did obviously everything wrong. I even like stuck to the let me just moan about it. So in Unity, I'm just learning. I don't know any experience. I literally learn something every day, and probably gonna look at this and be, oh my god, in the future. Oh my god, how could I do this so wrong? But I basically made everything in world canvas at some point, and then I watched a tutorial. So I do watch a lot of tutorials, but it takes time, and like it might not be the time that I find them. I did watch a tutorial, and I found out like, oh, that's how world canvas works. So I had to remake all the scaling and everything. That was like the first big one that I made wrong. I also regret the inventory system how I made it because I made it from separate systems. While actually, what I learned and the biggest message is you need to know everything ahead before making something. So if you're making, for example, your inventories, you need to know all of them before making one, so you can control them centralized, and certain similar aspects that you need to know a lot ahead. So currently I reached the point where like I might be soon ready for like writing the story and dialogues, and the blank page hit me. So I am making this project because I wanted to make a little world to escape to. But I also realized it's partially because of burnout. So I'm doing another burnout break, and that's why I've been having a little bit more time. At the same time, I felt as well as burnout from writing. I still wanted to make the story, didn't know what kind of story it is, but currently I've been really not sort of keen to go into writing. And even now, when I was thinking about dialogues, it's like, oh, this involves writing, and it automatically hit me. But I actually know roughly what kind of story it has to be, so just writing it down. Before I do that, I need my backgrounds, and today I'm going to be working on backgrounds, and there's so many things that I need to redo and do in there. So, okay, so I've been working on Unity for about 20 days. I don't know how to code or do anything, and this is what I got so far too. Honestly, it's been quite time consuming. So I have a character. I really don't like idle animation I made originally. I haven't changed it from last time. It's a bit too fast. I think I'll change it to something just like breathing or something. But for now, I wanted to sort the basics that I need for the game. So, I can equip loot items, and I think I can just reuse the script of, looting as I go on, because that's fine. So yeah, and I don't know, I did it too quickly. I click very quickly because I've been running this test multiple times. But we have animation frames basically that we change through when they open. Same with the dig pile. When you, oh, I clicked too fast again. Sorry, I'm very quick at clicking. Where basically they should be partial phase and then open phase. I'll double check if that's layered correctly. But then I also have a little jellyfish robot, which I tried to talk about last time. I made it so it follows, so that's a new since last time. There's a lot of new things. I spent most of those 20 days making inventory. What I also made, mana bars, we do fill up and down. I don't quite understand how to color them, health and mana, right, how to color mana so it doesn't clash with the sky. Maybe I should put it down. I haven't quite decided. There's a character button because I already made a plugin for second character. So all I've been working more recently is how to make more modular systems so I can actually invite another character, make modular system for quests, and so on. What also been a big time consumer is my inventory because this is the first one I made, the actual inventory, right? And now it just fights over control with my other ones. So I had to give all the control rules to basic inventory and then sort of pass it forward to other parts, which still not perfect. But I made multiple different things. So far what I have is inventory. I can, sorry about guys, I'm not used to, here we go. So you can see it's a bit of a lag till it takes over the control, and that's my downfall because this is the most functional I managed to make it. So I have to accept something is not functional because at some point I wanted to give up on the entire project because it was so broken that nothing was functioning. And because it's the most functional I got it, I had to show how it works. So I have crafting system as well, only one recipe at the moment. But also we can drink the potion because there's gonna be multiple characters. I have a pop-up to choose between which character drinks it. I don't know if this is gonna be very functional once I plug second character because second character also got me like a lot of issues with like stats and things like that and confusion. My little stats panel here. My mana is actually first. At first I wanted to make a first quest mana drain, so the character wakes up thirsty and just has to make that drink, so that's why I sort of gone with the logic. I had to give up on that because it kept resetting. At start, the mana kept resetting by itself and I'm not a coder, I couldn't make it, so I have to stick to more classical quests for now till I become maybe more, and also I don't understand why some slots show the slot, that's supposed to be an image, right? I don't know why the slot shows the image of the item while the other ones didn't, because we kept changing. Every time I redid it, I'm not too fussed, but every time I redid it, it kept changing how it displays. So I just, as long as it's functional. We can also equip, so we have drop down for all the equipment that can fit that slot. For a moment it's one. Again, don't know what's gonna happen when I have more. My biggest problem is I have a freeze up every time after equipping, or I think unequipping in equipment, because the biggest fight right now is between equipment panel and selector of inventory. So switches between them clearly have like the most lag. But similarly, I have unequip mode, so it goes like this, and then you press second time Q. I also made, so if you're a starter, please make point and click, because that's so easy. You set up buttons, you can click one, that's it. If you make like I with the selectors in the beginner stage, this is where all the mess starts, because selectors misbehave, and I spent so long to try to make them behave. So at least it's semi-functional, so clearly I still have a little bit of issues. So another thing that I can't fix because of this control, and this is the most functional I've had, sorry, not what I wanted to show. So every time I equip, I basically have to exit as well, because this is the most functional I was able. It was functional before I added the fourth panel. For some reason, after I added the fourth panel, it all just derailed. And it was so depressing, I wanted to stop everything. So no available items. For some reason, I can't close this one as well. I don't know if I'll sit down and fix it, because every time I fix one thing, another thing gets broken or it gets worse. This is like the most functional. So we can just exit and close it after for now. There's also recipe panel and also collections panel. Right? So again, have some sort of problems still, not fully functional, but this is the most functional I've been so far. And also I can drop the items as well. Sorry. Oh, I wanted to show all the icons I made myself is nothing I had to use from made assets. I can't, for some reason, again, turn this transparency on because it's not a game object, it's just an icon sprite. For some reason it's transparent, but I decided to also let it through because, you know, trace empty makes sense. But then it's supposed to change between empty to like cooking sort of one. So P is to clear tray, but also what I wanted to show that I also have Q is to drop items. It changes to red and then you press on it. I don't know if you can see, but it dropped. Here we go. The only problem right now, I somehow haven't anchored the dropped items properly, so they disappear off the screen, but actually before in the working version they would pop up next to the character, so I guess I'll be fixing that later today. And also have a quest log. So it's mostly semi-functional for actually making a game. As you see, as I said, mana, I have like little apple for heart, I don't know if you can see, and little bottle for mana. I made it that way also with a button for a character because I have a plugin for a second character. So basically my biggest takeaway was that you need to know what you want to have in the future and set it from the beginning correctly. Because at this point, because I made inventories separately, they really fight among each other a lot. And I feel like because I'm not gonna make any more inventories, I think that will be okay for now. But at some point I was like, I just want to burn the entire game and restart from beginning. But I spent about 20 days making this, so I can't. At the same time, I don't think I have as much time to burn. And I'm literally making this for myself right now, and this feels a bit frustrating. Another great example of progress was the inventory equipment. If you see, I made multiple other icons. So I had like a chess piece and a helmet, and I spent so long drawing that chess piece, but I realized that thinking of all those equipments will be really hard for me. So I tried to simplify it. Let me just show you the backgrounds, right? So we won't see this entire, so I'm making it in tile map and I'm making separate sections. So at the moment I'm making garden, laundry exterior and laundry interior, what I call it. So that's gonna be the opening scene. It's on the island. I guess I also starting to realize that not only that originally I was thinking of isometric and it wouldn't have worked for the game I want to do because of controls to begin with. Second thing, I realized that working with tiles makes it very square. So I don't know if I've seen this person while watching a lot of tutorials who I think does entire background layer, ground layer, separately, which is absolutely doable because it is kind of a separate layer, and then sort of places it in and puts everything else on top. So everyone has their own workflow. So it is very squarey. I also don't size my objects correctly. I leave them as they are, and then I size them manually, as well as I twist them. Every grass patch, sometimes I just like scale manually and like move manually. So, you know, it's gonna take about 10 years to do this. I want to put little details, like there's a little bit of broken fence here. Why I wanted to show this from this perspective, not just from camera, and I don't even know if it will go into the camera. I haven't made the corner. I tried to twist and switch it because these are just, for example, these are kind of like that perspective, but that's just resize, I believe. of the same tile. Anyway, so we all have like colliders and so on. Everything of that is sorted. So this is currently a working new starter. I'm thinking of placing, in the other one there was a treasure chest, thinking of placing like treasure chest here, a digging pile here, but it looks very flat and boring, to be honest. So I'm not quite sure, even though this is like a top layer. Again, you can't really tell. So I think there's definitely a lot of improvements I could make to just show, what these are. I would like some animated tiles in here, because nothing in here is animated. Now, the laundry area, again, I'm thinking of not making a corner separate area, so you should not be seeing entire screen. It should be like a little bit more zoomed in, like, maybe like kind of like this. Anyway, I did a lot of rocks on the path and stuff like that, right? And flowers, some of the flowers are different, really different kinds and so on. Again, there will be like some interactables. These are just the background items. There is a couple of movements here, I don't know if it'll play fine. So we have this laundry moving, and I don't know what I feel about it. I mean, it's okay, but it's not the most amazing. However, I'm not happy with this. I don't know how to use shaders yet, but that would be so brilliant from what I've seen. Right, and I get another elevation here. Mostly what I want to do to not make it perfect, really. In most of the things, there has to be like little grass that it shouldn't grow and things like that. There's still more things to work here. I'm pretty okay with this level. Again, it's still pretty flat looking. If I had learned how to shade, maybe I'll do some grass shading, I don't know. But it will take a while for me to learn something like that. It's just first month into Unity, guys. And the biggest message from here is very disorganized. I realized that each of the places probably should have their own tile palette, while now it's just like so many nonsensical things. This is another one. So this is a laundry. So going into this, right, building, we should get there. I still want it to be kind of, sizes might not match, but kind of a size of a screen. I realized that some people do the wall, and I'm not quite sure about the walls again. I might need to do a different wall, but then also another thing hit me that it's kind of brick layer, not the wood layer. But I don't know if I'm changing that, because it's fairly comfortable and understandable. This shouldn't be a stair. That's another thing I realized. Floor I had remade like multiple times now because it was too busy. So like I didn't know how to line it. So yeah, I made tiles with a background, like with a little design, but I realized that placing designs separately will be easier than tiling it, because you actually feel like a tiler than trying to match it. So, my palette, I don't know if you will be able to see my palette. I tried it multiple times. You can see that I uploaded the same tiles with different cutting. So I cut it in bigger sizes and smaller sizes, and I couldn't then rematch the pattern properly. Yeah. So really have nothing in here, but I wanted to make laundry place. So think about what else goes inside. I made a little list of what we could draw. So obviously I'm missing a lot of things, and now we'll be drawing some of those things. So I tried to time myself for this, because I was just doing small decor items, like more plants. I wanted to make some wilted plants, because it's in a garden, and if you saw, there's nothing growing on the soil area. So this was me thinking about that. I do redraw a lot. This obsessed with the control, you can tell. If I manually move everything, you can tell that control is quite important for me. Also, for variability alone, having multiple options is very nice. And also, just in case you don't like when you place it on the map, it's nice to just draw a couple of options. So my current practice is actually matching the background that I'm currently using, and basically drawing the item and then deleting the background. I found that's at least give you idea if it's going to pop up on that background or not.
and I found that was more comfortable. I didn't do this all the time, but basically that's what I learned from doing. I tried to make it like a stinging nettle, and it's not very obvious, but like it's nice for me to like have different kinds of plants. I'm that kind of world builder. So this was all about small details. That's why I wanted to be quick because each of them is just very tiny sprite that people won't pay attention to necessary. So here we are. I'm doing the corner that I wasn't good at.
So I really sunk into development hole and I started like finding new things and like it's really hard for me to update you guys because I forget to record where I am. So what I want to do is show you how much has changed in like last 10 days or so. And we might draw a little bit more. So since last I shown everything, I changed the entire background. There is also two types of cutscenes. One is that starts with a sprite animation, and they are written in a modular way, and there's also usually dialogue that follows. And there is another type of cutscene that is triggered by different things, and is usually a pop-up window. So we get like little pop-up, and then again dialogue, and they are written in a modular way. So you can actually like, I can actually make cutscenes easier. So obviously nothing else much changed. I don't know if I showed this background already, but it's very different from where I started. It's not perfect because I still have this transition jump to other cameras, which is something I'm not enjoying. I do have an NPC. I also made this inside of it, and you have the spinning washing machines and that kind of animation. Also there's a lot of interactables, including like you can go inside of the washing machines. I'll show you this one. So you know, you open it up and you get some money. Same with the laundry baskets, some of them are interactable. So this is a upper floor. I feel like I felt very empty, but at the same time, if I made a lot of constraints, there would be no movement. Also, fan is also running, but you can't really see it very well. I put a little paper strips on. Sorry, I can move you in, but actually you can't really see the fan movement so much, but it is moving slowly. And we also have these little wisps that also hidden objects, like it pops up in animation because it's the first time you meet one, possibly, if you find this one. And then you can collect it, and there's gonna be a part of collectible. Sorry about that, but I haven't really upgraded everything. This side of map is not done yet. Also, what I did since last time, I put a third icon here, which is gonna be a map, which is just a holder right now. But then we have proficiencies, and we have a skill tree, which is currently just a display of possible skills because we have no battle system. But also I don't really like my proficiency icons, so I might need to redraw them. But it all connects, like quests, dialogues, reading documents connects to this, so I feel like it's really nice. I don't know if I show you entire inventory, but this was at some point like completely different and more icons in it. And then recipes also automatically update, and this little thingy we collected is one of collectibles, so automatically goes into the needed slot. Yesterday I started experimenting with particles. So I don't know if you saw it, but there was a little particle here. I'll show you again if I can. But also yesterday, my biggest work yesterday sorry, I don't know why we're not focusing right. So my biggest work yesterday was like pushing items. It comes to show the interaction. It starts saying sort of you need to press C to push, and you can push, and there is a puzzle where if you push it to the end of this road, the map unlocks. So I have secret maps now, also triggered by many different things, which was my biggest work yesterday, as well as the door, opening the door with a key.
and I originally made a little lock. How to say? I originally made a little lock animation, but it's not triggering correctly, so I decided not to use it. Sorry guys, I don't have a camera on this scene yet, but this is the particle I'm just started working yesterday, so I haven't really made it the way I want. Clearly the map is not complete because there's going to be a confiner here that doesn't let you go through the boundaries. But also, if you notice, that's the new animation for wheat that I stuck to, which you can just have a little look. So try to play with shaders, and there should have been like shadows moving through the ground as if like imitate the clouds. But first of all, I get funny lines in the edges, so I had to I just dropped it out. It wasn't efficient enough. Though there was a relevant effect to some degree because you can see the shadows, but there's also, it also like hazes everything. It's more like a mist. So I feel like if I ever need to like make a mist area, I sort of will know how to use shaders for that. But for general effect, I decided to take it out, even though for summer maybe it felt like a like really hot summery day, but then there wouldn't be as big of a clouds, right? So that's really took a lot of like I experimented for 2 days to understand how we work, and this is the best probably I got to, and I decided that it's not worth it. This scene is not quite done. These rocks are just placeholders because I think I'm gonna put like sculptures here. It's gonna be like beginning of ancient rune basically, but like very little of it. And there's gonna be main icon here that sort of grants you your first skill. So it's like a one of the must play story quests because you can't really progress, or character progression quests I guess, but that's where you unlock your power to summon rain. So really what we're gonna do is gonna draw this sculpture because I don't have it yet. So I just draw on the board just to know roughly the size of it. It's compared to the other sculptures. So I learned from this other person that I watched that best is to do like a shape shadow and then make it sort of get it to the point where you want. So I remember that I wanted to make it like a kind of like a rock, but actually it would be nice to put some flowers down. Worry is gonna start looking like a grave too much. Or actually I would like them, they're shy. I would like them to cover the face as well. Like, if you know Apothecary Diaries, how they like bow with like sleeves covering the face, that would be nice. If you watch my other vlogs, you could see that even before pixel art, I sort of made a art concept of this, and the scene where you get granted a power rain. This is basically was supposed to be like a little memorial for all the maidens that have been sacrificed for appeasing the gods or like appeasing nature with the climate problems. And I really written a lot of story based on that, even though it was a bit of later in my mind that it came in. So basically, after I finished drawing this, which wasn't too bad, to be honest, it does represent what I wanted, but I realized that it's a bit too Zelda-esque and I might want to switch it out. I'm basically going to put it as a placeholder for now, but I'm really going to think about, do I need to rewrite this or change something different? Because the finished one was a bit too much like it and I don't want to get into trouble. Even though I really like the maiden story, sort of like she gets swallowed by earth in my mind. That's why all like rocks are like teeth, and that's very common in this world that rocks are like teeth in some areas. So I don't know how I'm gonna change it to like not be bogged down and bothered by it, but that's one of the things.
So this is it for today's update, and I'll show you how it sort of pans out. I really want to start making battle systems, so I wonder if we could do it together in the next video. I will see. But see you next time.